The morning started like any other day on Earth. People went to work, children played in parks, and nobody knew that alien ships were moving toward their planet. High above in space, the Zalarian Empire fleet was getting ready for what they thought would be an easy fight. Admiral Kextar stood on the bridge of his flagship looking at Earth through the big viewing screen. He had done this 47 times before on different worlds. His ships always won. The Zalarians had the best weapons in the galaxy, bright plasma beams that could melt through anything. Their shields could stop any attack, or so they thought. "Sir, we are in position," said his second-in-command, Commander Vexilon. 200 ships ready to attack. Kextar nodded. "Send the surrender message to the humans. Tell them their planet belongs to the Zalarian Empire now." The message traveled through space to Earth. In the United Earth Defense Command Center, Captain Jake Morrison read the alien words on his screen. He was 45 years old with gray hair and tired eyes. He had fought in the Mars Colony Wars 10 years ago. Now he commanded the defense ship UHS Defiance, floating in orbit around Earth. "They want us to give up without a fight," Morrison told his crew. "They say their plasma weapons are too strong for our primitive guns." Lieutenant Amy Parker laughed from her seat at the weapons control panel. She was 28, smart, and had helped design the new railgun system. "Captain, should I tell them what we really have?" "Not yet," Morrison said. "Let them make the first move. Power up the main gun." Amy's fingers moved across the control panel. Deep in the ship, the railgun began to wake up. It was not like the energy weapons the aliens used. The railgun was simple but deadly. It used magnetic fields to throw pieces of metal very, very fast. The metal pieces were made of tungsten, harder than steel. When the railgun fired, these pieces moved at 12% of light speed. The aliens had no idea what was coming. On the Zalarian flagship, Kextar was getting impatient. "Have the humans answered our message?" "No, sir, their ship is just sitting there. Then we will show them our power. All ships, fire plasma cannons at the human vessel." 200 alien ships opened fire at once. Bright green beams of plasma shot across space toward the human ship. The beams hit the Defiance's shields and made them glow and spark, but the ship did not break apart. Morrison watched the alien fire hit his ship. The shields held, but barely. "Their weapons are strong," he said, "but not strong enough. Amy, you may fire when ready." Amy had been waiting for this moment. She pressed the firing button. The railgun fired. There was no bright beam like the alien weapons, no sound in the empty space. Just a small piece of tungsten, metal flying through the darkness at incredible speed. It moved so fast that it crossed the distance between ships in less than 1 second. The tungsten rod hit the first Zalarian ship. The alien shields, designed to stop energy weapons, did nothing against the fast-moving piece of metal. The rod punched through the ship like it was made of paper. It kept going, hitting the second ship behind it. Then the third ship, all 3. Alien ships exploded at almost the same time. On the Zalarian flagship, everyone was quiet. They stared at their screens, not believing what they saw. 3 of their best ships were gone, destroyed by one shot from the human vessel. "What was that?" Kextar asked. His voice shook a little. "I don't know, sir. Our sensors show no energy, beam, no plasma fire, nothing." "Then how did they destroy our ships?" The science officer looked at his readings. "Sir, it appears they fired a physical projectile, a piece of metal." "Impossible. No kinetic weapon can penetrate our quantum shields." "This one did, sir. It was moving at 12% light speed." Kextar felt cold fear in his stomach. In Binge, all his years of conquest, no enemy had ever broken through Zalarian shields. "How fast did you say?" 12% light speed, sir. The projectile carried more kinetic energy than our plasma cannons. On the human ship, Morrison was smiling. "Reload the main gun. Let's see if they want to keep fighting." Amy was already working. "Railgun ready to fire again, Captain. Should I target their flagship?" "Not yet. Let's give them a chance to think about what just happened." The Zalarian fleet was in chaos. Ship captains were talking on all communication channels at once. Some wanted to retreat. Others wanted to attack with everything they had. Admiral Kexter tried to maintain control. "Silence," he shouted. We are the Zalarian Empire. We do not run from primitive species. But doubt crept into his mind. The humans had just done something impossible. They had destroyed 3 ships with one shot. And they had done it using simple physics, throwing metal really fast. "Sir," the communications officer said, "we are receiving a message from the human ship." "Put it on screen." Captain Morrison's face appeared on the alien view screen. He looked calm and confident. "This is Captain Morrison of the United Earth Defense Forces. You came here to conquer our world. You said our weapons were primitive. I think you might want to reconsider your position." Kextar tried to sound strong. "Human, you destroyed 3 ships, we have 200. Your single weapon cannot stop our entire fleet." Morrison smiled. "Admiral, I think you're missing something important. This ship doesn't have 1 railgun. It has 12 of them. And there are 20 more ships just like this one hiding behind our moon. Each ship has 12 railguns. That's 252 railguns total." The alien admiral felt his confidence disappear. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Morrison asked. "Would you like to find out? Or would you prefer to leave our solar system peacefully?" Kextar looked around his bridge. His officers were scared. They had never faced an enemy like this before. The humans were not using advanced technology. They were using basic physics, in a way that made their simple weapons more deadly than anything in the Zalarian arsenal. "We will consider your words," he said finally. Morrison nodded. "You have 1 hour to decide. After that, we start shooting." The communication ended. The Zalarian fleet floated in space, unsure what to do next. They had come to conquer Earth. Instead, they found humans who could throw pieces of metal faster than light itself. And that was just the beginning of their problems. The news traveled fast across the galaxy. Within hours, every Zalarian world knew about the disaster at Earth. 3 ships destroyed with 1 shot. The mighty Zalarian fleet, running away from a single human vessel. Fleet Commander Zexanol sat in his office on the homeworld, watching the battle recording for the 10th time. He could not believe what he saw. The human weapon made no flash of light, no bright beam of energy, just a small piece of metal moving impossibly fast. "How is this possible?" he asked his science advisor, Dr. Krelthin. The old scientist shook his head. "Commander, we have been thinking about weapons the wrong way. We focus on creating energy. Plasma beams, laser cannons, particle weapons. The humans took a different path. They use electromagnetic fields to throw solid objects at incredible speeds. But our shields stop everything. They have protected us for 1,000 years. Our shields stop energy weapons, sir. They were never designed to stop physical objects moving at 12% light speed. The kinetic energy is enormous." Zexanol felt sick. "How many human ships have these weapons?" "We don't know, sir. But if they have 20 ships like Admiral Kextar reported, that means over 200 of these railguns." On Earth, General Lisa Martinez stood in the command center, watching reports from around the world. Every human defense station was working at full capacity. The alien attack had been expected for 5 years, ever since the first alien probe was found near Jupiter. "Status report," she said to Colonel Sam Wright. "All orbital platforms are online, General. Moonbase Alpha has 30 railguns ready. Mars Defense Station reports 24 railguns operational. Earth's surface has 60 railgun batteries positioned around major cities." Martinez nodded. "And the ships?" "Captain Morrison's fleet is holding position near Earth. 21 ships, each with 12 railguns. We also have 15 ships at Mars and 8 at the asteroid belt." Dr. Ben Carter entered the command center. He was the man who had designed the human railgun system 10 years ago. "General, I've been studying the alien weapon recordings. Their plasma cannons are powerful, but they're energy-based. Our railguns should punch right through their defenses." "How sure are you, Doctor?" "Very sure. Energy shields work by dispersing or reflecting energy. They can't stop solid matter moving at relativistic speeds. It's basic physics." Martinez looked at the star map on the big screen. "Doctor, can we build more railguns?" "Already happening, General. Every factory on Earth, Mars, and the moon colonies is working on railgun production. We'll have double our current number within 6 months. Far away in Zalarian space, the High Council was meeting an emergency session. These were the most powerful beings in the Zalarian Empire, and they were scared. High Admiral Korthak spoke. First, the humans have made us look like fools. Our entire military doctrine is useless against their weapons. It gets worse, said Intelligence Chief Narvok. Our spy probes near Earth have detected massive industrial activity. The humans are building more of these railgun weapons. Council Leader Veltar leaned forward. How many more? Unknown, sir. But the energy signatures from their factories suggest they're producing railguns at an incredible rate. Every human world appears to be involved in the production. High Admiral Korthak stood up. Then we must attack now, before they build too many weapons. With what ships? Narvok asked. Admiral Kekstar's fleet is demoralized. Half the captains want to resign. The other half want to stay far away from human space. Meanwhile, on Captain Morrison's ship, engineer Kate Johnson was working on improvements to the railgun system. She was 32 years old and had been part of the railgun project since the beginning. Captain, she said over the intercom, I've found a way to increase our firing rate. Morrison came to the engineering section. Show me. Kate pointed to the railgun schematics on her computer screen. If we add a second set of magnetic coils and upgrade the power systems, we can fire twice as fast. Instead of one shot every 10 seconds, we can fire every 5 seconds. What about power consumption? That's the beauty of it, sir. The fusion reactors can handle the extra load. We just need to install the new coils. Morrison smiled. How long will the upgrade take? 48 hours per ship, sir. But the results will be worth it. Back on the Zalarian homeworld, Admiral Kekstar was facing a military tribunal. The greatest heroes of the Empire were questioning his failure at Earth. Admiral, said Grand Marshal Texvol, you had 200 ships. The humans had 1. How did you lose 3 ships and retreat? Kekstar tried to explain. Marshal, their weapon is unlike anything we've encountered. It moves faster than our sensors can track. Our shields are useless against it. Are you saying human technology is superior to ours? I'm saying human technology is different from ours, sir. They don't use energy weapons. They use kinetic projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds. The tribunal was silent. The idea that primitive humans could outsmart Zalarian science was hard to accept. Meanwhile, human spy satellites hidden throughout the galaxy were sending information back to Earth. The aliens were confused and scared. Some wanted to attack immediately. Others wanted to negotiate. A few wanted to run away and never come back. General Martinez read the intelligence reports with satisfaction. The aliens are panicking, she told her staff. They don't know how to fight our railguns. What's our next move, General? Asked Colonel Wright. We wait. Let them make the first move, but we keep building more railguns. Lots more railguns. Dr. Carter looked up from his computer. General, I have good news. The Mars Industrial Complex just came online. They can produce 50 railguns per month. And the moon factories? 30 per month, ma'am. The asteroid mining stations are also contributing tungsten for ammunition. Martinez nodded. Soon we'll have enough railguns to protect every human world in the solar system. She looked at the star map again. The aliens had many ships and many worlds, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity. The humans had turned simple physics into the most deadly weapon in the galaxy. The panic was spreading through alien space, and it was only the beginning. 3 months had passed since the first battle at Earth. The Zalarian Empire was desperate. Their pride was broken, their confidence shattered. High Admiral Korthak stood before the largest fleet in Zalarian history. 800 ships gathered from every corner of their empire. Today we end this embarrassment, he told his captains over the communication channel. The humans caught us by surprise once. It will not happen again. Admiral Vexlon, now promoted after Kekstar's disgrace, commanded the new experimental ships. Sir, our science teams have developed new shield technology. These deflector shields should stop kinetic projectiles. Should? Korthak asked. The tests were promising, sir. We fired metal projectiles at the shields at high speed. Most were deflected. Most? Vexilon hesitated. The ones moving slower than light speed, sir. We couldn't test against projectiles. Moving at 12% light speed, our test facilities aren't capable of those velocities. Meanwhile, in the human solar system, Commander Rick Blake was preparing humanity's response. He was 41 years old, a former asteroid miner who had joined the defense forces when the alien threat became known. Now he commanded 50 ships, each loaded with the new improved railguns. "Status report," Blake said to his communications officer, Lieutenant Danny Clark. "All ships ready, sir. The Luna Research Station reports that Dr. Anna Thompson has completed the new railgun upgrade." Blake nodded. Dr. Thompson had been working on the railgun project for months. She was brilliant, only 35 years old, and had found ways to make the weapons even more deadly. "Patch me through to Dr. Thompson," Blake ordered. The scientist's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired but excited. "Commander Blake, the new railguns are ready for field testing. What's different about them? We've increased the projectile velocity to 20% light speed using superconducting magnetic coils and antimatter-assisted acceleration. The kinetic energy is 4 times greater than the old system." Blake whistled. "How much damage will that do?" "Sir, at 20% light speed, the tungsten projectiles will create gravitational distortions when they hit. Even near misses will damage enemy ships." On the bridge of the human flagship UHS Victory, Captain Morrison was studying the approaching alien fleet. His ship had been upgraded with the new railgun system. Lieutenant Amy Parker, now promoted to commander, was running final weapons checks. 800 ships, Morrison said. "They're serious this time." "Sir," Amy replied, "we have 50 ships with improved railguns. Each ship has 15 railgun barrels now, instead of 12. That's 750 railguns total. Against 800 ships, the odds are almost even." Amy smiled. "Sir, with respect, I don't think the odds matter. They still don't understand what they're facing." The alien fleet approached Jupiter's orbit where the human ships waited. Admiral Vexlon felt confident in his new deflector shields. He had 800 ships against 50 human vessels. The numbers were clearly in his favor. "All ships prepare for battle," he commanded. "Activate deflector shields. Target the human vessels." The Zalarian ships formed into attack formation. Their new shields shimmered with energy, designed to deflect solid projectiles. The aliens had spent 3 months and enormous resources developing this technology. Commander Blake watched the alien fleet approach. "All ships, this is Blake. Weapons free. Target the largest ships first." The human ships opened fire. 50 ships fired their railguns at the same time. 750 tungsten projectiles streaked across space at 20% light speed. The projectiles were invisible to the naked eye, moving too fast to see. The first projectiles hit the alien deflector shields. The shields held for exactly 0.0001 seconds. Then they failed catastrophically. The tungsten rods, moving at 60,000 kilometers per second, punched through the alien shields like they were made of paper, but something else happened that surprised even the humans. The projectiles moving at 20% light speed created gravitational waves as they flew through space. When they hit the alien ships, the kinetic energy was so enormous that it warped space-time around the impact points. Alien ships didn't just explode. They were torn apart by gravitational forces. Admiral Vexlon watched in horror as 50 of his ships were destroyed in the first salvo. The deflector shields, which had cost the Empire billions of credits to develop, were completely useless. "Impossible," he shouted. "Our shields were designed to stop kinetic weapons." His science officer checked the readings. "Sir, the human projectiles are moving faster than our previous estimates, 20% light speed. The kinetic energy is..." He paused, checking his calculations. "Sir, each projectile carries more energy than our largest plasma cannons. Return fire. All ships return fire." The alien fleet fired back with 800 plasma cannons. Bright green beams of energy crossed the space between the fleets. Some hit human ships, making their shields glow and spark. But the human ships kept fighting. Commander Blake's ship shook as alien plasma beams hit his shields. "Damage report." "Shields at 60%, sir. Hull intact." "Fire again." The human railguns fired a second salvo. Another 40 alien ships disappeared in explosions of twisted metal and energy. Dr. Thompson, watching from Lunar Research Station, could hardly believe the weapon effectiveness. "The gravitational distortions are even stronger than predicted," she told her assistants. "The projectiles are actually bending space-time as they travel." On the alien flagship, panic was spreading. Vexilon had never seen anything like this. His ships were being destroyed faster than he could count them. "Sir, we've lost over 100 ships," his communications officer reported. "How many humans have we destroyed?" "None, sir. Their shields are holding against our plasma weapons." Vexilon felt cold fear in his stomach. The humans were winning. Again, all ships, focus fire on one human vessel. Concentrate everything on their flagship. 200 alien ships turned their weapons toward Commander Blake's ship. 200 plasma beams hit the human vessel at the same time. The UHS Victory's shields failed. The ship's hull glowed red-hot from the energy impacts. "Hull breach on decks 4 and 5, reported the damage control officer. "We're losing atmosphere." Blake gritted his teeth. "Can we still fight?" "Railguns are operational, sir. Then keep firing." Even as his ship was being torn apart by alien weapons, Blake's railguns continued to fire. Tungsten projectiles streaked toward the alien fleet, each one destroying another enemy ship. Captain Morrison, watching the battle from his own ship, saw Blake's vessel beginning to break apart. "All ships, concentrate fire on the aliens attacking." The Victory. 49 human ships turned their railguns toward the aliens surrounding Blake's ship. The space around the alien fleet filled with invisible death, tungsten projectiles moving at 20% light speed. In 30 seconds, 200 alien ships were destroyed. The battle became a rout. The remaining Zalarian ships tried to retreat, but human railgun projectiles traveled faster than alien engines could run. By the end of the day, only 50 alien ships escaped. 750 had been destroyed. The Zalarian Empire's greatest fleet was gone, defeated by 50 human ships and the power of physics applied with deadly precision. 6 months after the great battle at Jupiter, the galaxy was a different place. The news of humanity's victory had spread to every star system. 800 Zalarian ships destroyed by 50 human vessels. The most powerful empire in the galaxy had been crushed by a species that had just learned to travel between stars. President Helen Davis sat in her office in New Washington, reading reports from across the galaxy. She was 53 years old, a former senator who had become Earth's leader during the alien crisis. Now she faced a problem she had never expected: too many aliens wanting to be friends with humanity. "Ma'am," said her secretary, bringing in another stack of papers, "we have 17 more requests for diplomatic meetings. The Krex Confederacy, the Morlan Republic, and 15 smaller alien governments all want peace treaties." Davis sighed. "What do they all want?" "Protection, ma'am. They're all afraid that someone will attack them, and they want human railgun ships to defend their worlds." Meanwhile, Colonel Sam Wright was setting up humanity's first military base, outside the solar system. The planet was called Nexus Prime, and it used to belong to the Zalarian Empire. Now it was under human protection. Wright stood on the observation deck of the base looking out at the alien city below. The Zalarian civilians who lived there had begged humanity to protect them from pirates and raiders. In exchange, they had given humans the entire star system. "Colonel," said Major Lisa Park, his second-in-command, "the defense grid is ready. 30 railgun platforms orbiting the planet, each one capable of destroying any ship within 10 light minutes." Wright nodded. "What about the alien refugees?" "Over 50,000 Zalarians have requested to stay under human protection. They're afraid to go back to what's left of their empire." The Zalarian Empire was falling apart. After losing their main fleet, different parts of their territory were declaring independence. Some worlds joined other alien governments. Others became independent. A few asked to join the growing human alliance. On Earth, Dr. Ben Carter was in his laboratory working on the next generation of railgun technology. He had visitors, alien scientists who wanted to learn from human weapons research. "Dr. Carter," said Dr. Zeklon, a former Zalarian military scientist, How did your species develop such effective kinetic weapons? Carter smiled. We've always been good at throwing things. Thousands of years ago, humans threw spears at animals. Then we invented bows and arrows. Then guns that fired bullets. Railguns are just the newest step in a very old tradition. But the physics involved are actually quite simple, Carter interrupted. We use magnetic fields to accelerate metal projectiles. The harder part was building reactors powerful enough to generate the necessary magnetic fields. Dr. Zeklon shook his head. Simple for you, perhaps. My people focused on energy weapons, plasma, lasers, particle beams. We never considered that kinetic weapons could be so deadly. That's the difference between our species, Carter said. You tried to make energy do the work. We made matter do the work by moving it really, really fast. In space near Mars, Captain Morrison was training the new generation of human fleet officers. His ship, now called UHS Liberator, had been rebuilt and upgraded after the battle damage. Commander Amy Parker stood beside him on the bridge. Captain, Amy said, we have a message from Earth Command. The Vegan Trade Union wants to hire human ships to protect their merchant vessels from pirates. Morrison laughed. 6 months ago, aliens were trying to conquer us. Now they want to hire us as bodyguards. The pay is good, sir. They're offering rare metals and advanced technology in exchange for protection. Technology we don't need, Morrison replied. Our railguns work better than anything they have. On the former Zalarian homeworld, the last remnants of their government were meeting in emergency session. High Admiral Korthak, one of the few senior officers to survive the Jupiter battle, was trying to hold the Empire together. We must accept reality, he told the Council. Humanity has become the dominant military power in this sector of the galaxy. We can either work with them or be destroyed by them. You're suggesting we surrender to a primitive species? Asked Counselor Velron. I'm suggesting we survive, Korthak replied. The humans don't want to conquer us. They just want to be left alone. If we make peace with them, they might protect us from our enemies. The Council voted. By a narrow margin, they decided to send a peace delegation to Earth. 2 weeks later, the Zalarian delegation arrived at Earth. Admiral Kextar, the officer who had led the first failed invasion, was part of the group. He had volunteered for this mission, hoping to understand how humanity had defeated his empire so completely. President Davis met with the aliens in the United Nations building. Kextar was surprised by how normal the human leader looked. No special armor, no weapons, no guards with railguns, just a middle-aged woman in a business suit. Admiral Kextar, Davis said, I believe you were the first alien to encounter our railgun technology. Yes, Madam President. I lost 3 ships to your Captain Morrison's single shot. And what did you learn from that experience? Kextar was quiet for a moment. I learned that my people had become arrogant. We thought our energy weapons made us invincible. We never considered that there might be other ways to fight. Davis nodded. Admiral, humanity doesn't want to be your enemy. We just want to live in peace. But we'll defend ourselves if attacked. I understand, Madam President. My government wants to propose a mutual defense treaty. We offer our remaining ships and our knowledge of galactic politics. In return, we ask for protection from human railgun ships. Davis considered this. What can you tell us about other alien species in the galaxy? There are over 200 intelligent species within 1,000 light-years of Earth. Most have heard about your railgun technology. Some are planning to attack you before you become too powerful. Others want to ally with you. And what do you recommend? Kextar smiled sadly. I recommend that you build more railguns, Madam President. Many more railguns. 6 months later, the Terran Defense Alliance was formed. 57 alien species joined the alliance, with humanity as the dominant military power. Human ships patrolled trade routes, protecting merchant vessels from pirates. Human bases defended alien worlds from invasion. The galaxy had learned a simple lesson. Don't fight the species that can throw tungsten rods at 20% of light speed. Dr. Carter published his railgun research, sharing the technology with allied alien species. but most aliens found human railgun technology too difficult to copy. Building the magnetic coils required precision manufacturing that few species possessed. Generating enough power required fusion reactors that most aliens couldn't build. Captain Morrison, now promoted to admiral, commanded the largest fleet in human history. 300 ships, each armed with advanced railguns. The fleet was based at Nexus Prime, ready to defend human space and allied worlds. Admiral, Commander Amy Parker said, "We have reports of unknown ships entering the Outer Rim territories. They might be scouts from the Andorian Empire." Morrison looked at the star chart. The Andorians were rumored to have powerful weapons, and hundreds of thousands of ships. They had conquered entire star clusters. "Well," Morrison said with a smile, "let's see how they handled tungsten rods moving at 25% light speed." The age of energy weapons was over. The age of kinetic dominance had begun, and humanity was just getting started.